Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Gentoo, your source for all things video game and tech related. I'm Kate Cox.
And I'm Keegan Cooper. Let's get right into this week's new releases. You'll be able to see these games and many more released throughout the week on your favorite platforms.
This week we've got a new release for VR lovers, the long-awaited Crash 4, and it's Super Mario Battle Royale? What?
The Walking Dead Onslaught releases for the PC VR and PSVR on September 29th. There's no rest when survival is on the line. Step into the AMC's The Walking Dead on PSVR, Oculus Home, and Steam VR. Prepare for an onslaught of walkers as you assume the roles of your favorite characters from the show and confront the horrors and humanity of this apocalyptic new world.
Super Mario Bros. 35 comes out on the Switch Online on October 1st. Race against 34 other players as you speed through classic Mario stages, defeat enemies, and gain coins in order to sabotage your opponents and give yourself a boost along the way. This game is available free to all Switch Online subscribers, but will only be playable until March 31st.
It's me, Mario! Wahoo!
Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time releases for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 on October 2nd. Neo Cortex and Entropy are back at it again and launching an all-out assault on not just this universe, but the entire multiverse. Crash and Coco are here to save the day by reuniting the four quantum masks and bending the rules of reality.
These games and many more will be releasing throughout the month, so be sure to be on the lookout for them.
Up next, check out X-Gen with Dalton.
Hello everybody and welcome back to X-Gen, the show where I, Dalton Speece, talk about some of the games I really enjoyed playing on this generation of consoles. This week we are going to talk about something that's been pretty much unheard of in the last few years. A good game made by EA. Obviously, this week we'll be taking a look at Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. Now, Garden Warfare doesn't really have a story mode itself, so for this section I will just kind of run down some of the lore for the PvZ universe. Okay, so I just spent the last 30 minutes looking for any kind of story within Plants vs. Zombies, and the only thing I found was a crazy long Reddit thread that I could only describe as half speculation and half fan fiction. So I will give you the limited information I do have, which is Crazy Dave is the leader of the plants, who are supposedly good, and Zomboss is the leader of the zombies, who are supposedly bad. Exhilarating stuff, right? Now we get to gameplay, where finally I get to talk about what makes this game so much fun. There are a few different modes to play in this game. You've got Garden Ops, which is the classic PvZ tower defense type game mode, where up to 4 plants defend their turf against an onslaught of zombies. There's also a few different PvP modes, including Plants vs. Zombies' own versions of Conquest, Team Deathmatch, Kill Confirmed, and Domination. Each side has 4 playable characters, but each of those characters all have their own variations, with some of them having up to 9 different variations. There are a lot of ways to customize how you play in this game. For example, the Foot Soldier uses the basic 30-round assault rifle setup, but the Super Commando, who's one of his variations, uses a crossbow, or another one, the Tank Commander actually uses a tank shell that needs to be reloaded after every time it is fired. Along with that, each character all has their own special abilities, whether it be chucking a sombrero bean bomb at your enemies as the pea shooter, riding around on your jackhammer for a speed boost with the engineer. All of these really help to make each character play different while allowing you to fine-tune it to the way you like. I would definitely have to say my favorite character to play as is the Camo Cactus. The Cactus is already kind of a sit-in-the-back, long-range killer kind of character, but when you use the Camo variation, your shots do a good bit more damage and your effective range is a little bit longer at the sacrifice of having less ammo and a longer reload time. But if you're somebody who likes to mostly go for headshots like me, that's not a problem at all. Now onto why I really fell in love with this game. I think the main reason that I really like this game is the sticker shop. Obviously, you can buy coins in the game with real money to buy more packs, but I don't see why anybody would. After like 3 good games, you have enough coins to buy pretty much whatever pack you want. The game does kind of turn into a collectathon because you want to unlock everything, whether it be new hats for your characters, upgrades to all their abilities, or getting new sticker pieces so that you can finally complete that character variation you've been working on forever. There are probably way too many things to collect, but every pack opening is fun because it doesn't feel like a chore or a grind to get to the next one. Another part of it is that this game is obviously a game created for the younger demographic with how cartoony it is, and it's not about violence so much as just having a fun time. Even when you're playing terrible, it's still possible to have fun. Going back and playing the original makes me disappointed that I didn't really give either of the sequels much of a chance, and them getting rid of the pack system in favor of a random item lotto type thing really turned me off from playing the newest game. That being said, this game was fantastic and definitely worth adding to the library. That's all for me this week. I'll see you next time on XGen.
Hello and welcome to Steam on a Budget. I'm Drew, and today I'll be looking at one of the best puzzle games ever made, Portal 2, the sequel to the original Portal. In both games, you have to solve puzzles using the portal gun, a gun that, well, shoots portals. The test gets harder as the game progresses, and they will use many different mechanics to make the puzzles interesting. Now, the reason I'm picking Portal 2 instead of Portal 1 is because of the overall quality. They're both great games, but Portal 2 is just better in every way. There's a story that connects to the previous game, but it can be enjoyed fully without playing the first one. Now let's go over the good parts of this game. There are a lot. Portal 2 is definitely in the puzzle game Hall of Fame. Its puzzles are extremely satisfying to solve, and the difficulty progression is very well balanced. Not once while playing the game did I hit a wall of difficulty. It was a steady slope that made the game feel fluid and fun. Now the puzzles aren't just there for no reason. There is a story that connects everything. Even without playing the first game, the self-contained story is well thought out and extremely comedic. The little quips that are said by GLaDOS to the player are always entertaining. I often found myself chuckling when hearing the robot try to explain why it doesn't like humans. The story isn't too in-depth or complicated, so it does a good job of not getting overwhelming. One of the best parts of this game is the multiplayer. There is a multiplayer mode where you and one other friend are two robots who must work together to solve different puzzles. The multiplayer mode is not just tacked on as well. It has its own self-contained story and is full of more little bits of lore that flesh out the world a bit. There's nothing better than getting with a buddy and yelling at each other to solve a puzzle. It's chaotic fun at its best. While this game is pretty much perfect, there are some things to consider before purchasing. While I hope I've made it clear by now, if you haven't caught on yet, this is in fact a puzzle game. If you don't like puzzles or get bored of them quickly, this game may not be for you. There's no shooting or fighting to be had, so it may be slow for some people, and that's completely fine. Another thing to consider is the difficulty. Eventually, it will get very hard to figure out puzzles, so it can get very frustrating. Another problem I found while playing the game is the overall age of it. There are a few quality of life issues that get slightly annoying. If you tap out of the game, it has a mini freak out and stutters for a bit, and it was having some more stutters after loading screens. My computer was way over the recommended specs, so it must be the game's age showing. Nothing game-breaking, but something to keep in mind. So, in conclusion, I'd say this game is a must-buy. Its gameplay is smooth, and the puzzles are creative. The comedy is very entertaining, and the story is a good cherry on top. While some people may find the game boring or maybe difficult, I believe that for the most part, this game is a fine addition to your Steam library. My name is Drew, and thanks for watching Steam on a Budget.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the third week of Tuck Talks. Now, last week we covered Madden 21 and talked about a few of the game modes that I most enjoy. And this week we're just going to finish up talking about how bad of a game this actually is. This is the worst rated Madden of all time, and it is the worst user rated score on Metacritic. That's so hard to do, to be the worst user rated score on a website whose purpose is to score video games. Here are the other ratings of what other websites thought about the game, or my review. Horrible game. Shouldn't even be on the PlayStation Store, Xbox Store, Steam, whatever. Shouldn't even be a thing. And they're like, Tucker, why is it a bad game? Like, what makes it so bad about this game? Like, what is the problem with it? Well, let me show you. These are a few of the clips that I've gotten on the game, and I've already gotten 4 clips that are just like, huh? How does that happen? Huh? That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in a real game. It doesn't happen in real life. What do you mean access denied? You're acting like it's some top secret CIA type deal that I can't get into because I'm a 21-year-old in Maryville, Missouri. Like, if you did that in real life, you'd be dead. Or on the IR. One of the two. Probably dead. How can I play this game? This game is bad. And the rating system, I don't even want to get started on it. Like, this would deserve an entire week dedicated to itself, but I'm not going to do that because it's just so frustrating. Like, yeah, Rob Gronkowski, who was retired, and he's back, and he's got a 95 overall rating. That's better than Deshaun Watson, who's at an 86, who's arguably one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. He has an 86? Anyways, that's going to do it for Tuck Talks Week 3. I'm done. I think I'm done with Madden 21, man. It's just the same thing. If I try and make a new video on it, it's just going to be the same content as it was the week before. So I think what I'm going to do next week is play a game that I think is better than Madden 21. I think it might be the best game of all time. Maybe. More on that next week. Peace.
Hello everyone and welcome. Now, we've been talking a good amount about Fall Guys, but I think it's time to change it up. With Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War releasing in November, every fan is excited and wondering what they'll come up with for zombies. So, why don't we take a look back on some of Treyarch's most memorable, and, in my opinion, top 5 best zombies maps. Now, as a disclaimer, we will only be talking about main maps, so Dead Ops Arcade and segments of maps such as Town, Bus Depot, or Cell Block will not be included. Now with that being said, let's hit the mystery box, grab some jug, and jump right in. And at number 5, we have 9, a map set in the middle of a Roman Colosseum. Its method of pack-a-punch was well done, requiring you to complete trials in each of the map's 4 towers in order to activate it. The final boss for the Easter egg was also very interesting in taking down 2 giant zombified elephants. Overall, this map has a great setting, but lacks in overall content. At number 4, we have KINO TOTEN, taking place in an abandoned 935 theater. This map is a classic because of its traditional playstyle. Start on one side of the map, progress to the other side, grab your weapons and perks, and kill zombies. The only issue with this map is its lack of an Easter egg, causing the gameplay to become pretty stale quickly. Overall though, this map is an easy play and quite nostalgic. At number 3, we have Transit, a giant map with smaller locations you can travel to using the zombie bus. This map brought so many new ideas to the point where it became a detriment, pushing gaming consoles at the time to their limit. This map also had a pretty engaging Easter egg despite its annoyances to complete it. My favorite thing though about this map is its song, Carry On by Kevin Sherwood. Despite this map's flaws, its ambitions keep on bringing me back to play it. At number 2, we have Origins. This map takes place in the trenches of France during World War I with an added diesel punk theme to it. It also marked the return of the original and beloved Zombies crew, however this time younger. It introduced probably the most content for any Zombies map ever, a few of those being 3 1,000-foot robots that march through the map, elemental staffs, and perhaps the most in-depth Easter egg in the franchise's history. Overall though, Origins is a fantastic map, however, there is still one map that I hold as the best. And the best Zombies map goes to Mob of the Dead. This map hits all of the beats. Memorable characters, an incredible setting, a great map layout, 2 amazing songs, and a unique Easter egg. This map takes place in Alcatraz prison with 4 mobsters trying to escape by flying on a makeshift plane from the roof, crashing into the Golden Gate Bridge. This map also includes 2 songs, one of which is the song Rusty Cage by Johnny Cash, and the other is an original by Maluka called Where Are We Going?
How do we know? Where do we go? Where do we go?
This Zombies map overall has the most immersive and enjoyable experience that Treyarch has put out so far. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next top 5.
Welcome to this week's Virtual and Reality. I'm your host, Derek Campbell. For this week, I am focusing on football, but more specifically, field goals. In virtual and in reality, I will be seeing how accurate and how far I can kick a field goal. As you have seen, I have started off in practice just to warm up on field goals in the game, and I would move the ball back every 10 yards to test my distance and accuracy in the video game. I didn't start to miss field goals until I got past the 50-yard line. I then decided to recreate the Chiefs-Chargers game to see if I could make field goals under a little pressure from the defense. To start us off, I made 1 field goal from the 30-yard line, and right down the middle it went. And then I made an extra point that was pretty easy. And then I made another field goal from about the 35, which was easy. And then I made a 55-yarder, which was right down the middle, pretty good for my accuracy. And then the game-winning field goal from about 50 yards.
My name's Derek Campbell, and we just got done in the virtual, and we're here in the reality now.
And James from the football team is going to be kicking field goals first, and we're going to see how accurate and how far he can go, and then we're going to see the same thing for me after him, so let's get to it. James Hayden started off by missing his first field goal, but after that he drilled his next 2 attempts from the 20-yard line, and then we moved on back to the 30, where Hayden made his first field goal but missed his next couple of kicks, and the last one was being wide right for him. At 35 yards, Hayden had the accuracy and the distance to make the first 2 field goals, but on the third, he missed again wide right. Hayden had the leg to make a 40-yard field goal, but not the accuracy to nail one. He was consistently wide right when he would miss a field goal. Alright, James just got done, so it's my turn. We'll see how I do. For me, I missed my first attempt at 20 yards, but then made my next 2 field goals down the middle with just enough leg power to spare. At 30 yards is where things started to get interesting for me. I had the accuracy to make one, but not the leg strength to get it over the post. My struggles continued on to my 35-yard field goals, where I struggled to power the kicks over the post. I was short on all of my attempts from the 30 and beyond. Due to it being a very windy day, the audio for the interview could not be heard. But when I asked James how he thought he did, he said he had an okay day kicking field goals and that he's just consistently wide right and he had the distance to make them. But when I asked him how I did, he said I needed to stop using my toe and more of my inside foot bone to get that extra distance that I would need for the longer field goals. Thank you for joining me this week. I'm Derek Campbell, your host, and this was Virtual in Reality.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Project Delta. Once again, I'm your host, Dalton Spees, and with me this week is
Aaron James.
And Aaron, this week, you can go ahead and get started in the game here. This summer,
Might die.
this summer, we saw the release of the PlayStation 4 swan song, Ghost of Tsushima, and with the PS4 right around the corner, it seems appropriate to spend some time in Japan. So here we are with Ghost of Tsushima. This game was developed by Sucker Punch, who is known for the infamous titles, and so I want to know, how familiar are you with their previous work?
I've actually only played Second Son. I know there was 2 of them on the PS3, and I never played them. But
The Third Son, was that, did that ever come out?
The Third Son?
The Third
No,
Son?
No. And the Second Son, like, it was good, but honestly, I don't remember a lot of it. Like, it was kind of forgettable.
Yeah.
So,
Which that seems to happen to, I don't want to say like sequels or anything, but I feel like, and people are probably gonna like roast me at the stake. I'm sure Keegan will barge in the door and come and body slam me after I say this, but Red Dead 2, kind of forgettable.
yeah, I could agree.
I mean, like, I remember some of the things that went down, like the key points, but that game, you know, just kind of...
When it came out, I sunk a lot of time into it, and then I never touched it since.
Exactly.
Like, for 2 years now. So.
And I mean, some of that has to do with the online, and Red Dead just isn't as exciting as like GTA, because GTA you're flying jets and you're got your party yachts and stuff, and
I'm not, because I can't afford it.
In Red Dead it's like, oh dude, I got a zebra, which I mean, OG Red Dead was fun because you could, there's a whole bunch of different things to ride around on, and that was before, you know, GTA Online had all the crazy stuff going on. Looks like you're taking on some Mongols right now,
Yeah.
and you're
Not successful.
I wouldn't say you're having a good time. You're rocking the low health, and you threw a firework
It's all a part of my
at
plan.
that guy. It was a sticky bomb. I'm sure they definitely
Yeah.
had that kind of technology back in the day, you know. But so it seemed to surprise a lot of people that they were going to get a samurai game with no supernatural elements, especially with the studio's past titles. So how do you think they handled a more grounded story and gameplay with Ghost of Tsushima?
I think it's pretty excellent. Like, I really enjoyed the swordplay. It's not as good as like Sekiro. It is a little more arcadey, I feel like. But for having no powers, like, they sure make you feel powerful. Like,
Yeah, it's,
the tools you're given, which they probably took some liberties with it, like you
Yeah.
were saying with the sticky bombs, and I've got some exploding arrows here. But I mean, I think it was handled really well. There's some moments where it definitely seems like the game's gonna get mythical, but it's kind of just a tease.
Yeah, and with you talking about it being, you know, kind of like Sekiro, but not quite as hard, as more arcadey. Can you see that it is definitely a lot more forgiving than, say, Sekiro, where one wrong move can just be like, oh yeah, here you go, you're dead, go back to the last checkpoint kind of deal.
Yep. Although they did add a mode, I haven't played it yet. It's called Lethal, and like one good sword hit can kill you, one good sword hit can kill your enemies. So I don't know.
And just like seeing you play, I see you can kind of look at the glint of like the enemy's weapons. Is that kind of like how you can gauge when you need to dodge or kind of parry or reflect whatever attack they're sending towards you?
Yeah, the blue glint means that you can parry it, which I haven't played for a while, so I'm not very good. The red means it's unparryable, unblockable.
Oh yeah, it
so
just means
you have to roll
get
it.
out of the way. Uh-oh, you're getting, oh,
I'm
down
dead,
goes
dude.
Aaron.
Now I really am the ghost of sushi.
Mongols 1, Aaron 0. But so this game, it came out shortly after a huge PlayStation exclusive, of course, being the controversial Last of Us Part 2. How do you think the quality of these two PlayStation exclusives compare?
I think that honestly, like, this game left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth in some parts because of like how much of a step back it was from The Last of Us 2 after having just beat The Last of Us in June and then getting this. Like, the way that it handles cutscenes and like transitions into cutscenes, it feels like an older game. It really does, and like the cutscenes look kind of terrible in my opinion.
Yeah, and
especially compared to the actual gameplay. Like,
that could be just the display that we're playing on, but like others commented that, you know, it does kind of look like it's not a game that came out in the last few months. It looks kind of older, like the render distance isn't super huge. And
no, see, I think the rest of the graphics are fine. In motion, I think the game's fine. But I mean, like say you walk up to a story mission and you start the mission, like, and it has a cutscene. Instead of like transitioning smoothly, you'll get hit with a loading screen for like 5 seconds, and then the cutscene will start in like a slightly different area or completely different area. You know, it kind of just throws you in there. Like,
and I know, like, a lot of people, even though that they may not have liked the story of The Last of Us 2, a lot of people do say how fun the gameplay was, at least after the first like 2 or 3 hours, which was just the PlayStation Classic walking simulator. But once you actually, you know, get into the combat and stuff, it's fun. So I wonder, does this game, is the story mode make the clunky combat worth it, or is it the story mode somewhat subpar?
The story itself is pretty good. Like, you come to care for the characters. Like, there's a pretty big cast of characters, and I was surprised by how much I actually cared about them and knew some of their names by the end of it. Like, and I'm dead again, dude.
I think that's 3 points for the Mongols. You might be a little bit more rusty than you thought you were.
I'm pretty rusty, dude.
But so before, I did not know this, that
maybe I'm just trash.
Tsushima is the island that you're actually on. So how lively is the island of Tsushima, and is there a lot to do as you explore the Isle?
That's another aspect.
You lost the Samurai Showdown again.
Yeah, I know.
I could tell you were concentrated. But so, how fun is it to just explore all these lush zones and areas within the island?
It is fun to explore, though. As far as it being lively, like, I feel like it's not. Like, they have a good number of side quests, okay, but like when you're just riding around, like, there's not really any random encounters besides like enemies, you know, riding up on you.
4 points to the Mongol.
I'm about done.
Yeah, you're just gonna
run
shut
around.
the PlayStation off?
I'm just gonna ride my horse.
So, do you think that we will get a sequel out of this game? Do you think it was received well enough that people would be clamoring for a second one? I think one of the coolest things that I saw out of this game is there is a cinematic mode, which turns it pretty much everything into black and white, and it makes it more look like one of those older samurai films.
Dude, there is some input delay on this TV.
Blame the TV.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Cut me some slack.
But yeah, have you played any of that? I think it's called like theater mode, or it might be named after some like famous Japanese director. Have you played that at all?
Kurosawa mode or something.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it wrong, but Would you like to check it out? Yeah, Kurosawa mode.
Yeah, let's turn that on. You can even see like the
grain.
Yeah,
the
the grain on the
and-
film. Now this is how this game should be experienced.
I actually haven't played it like this at all.
Maybe
I'm dead again, dude.
we're running out of
maybe
fingers.
this game's harder than Sekiro, dude. Because
But so we talked about should it be a sequel.
Yes.
This might be our last question. Sucker Punch made the unexpected announcement of a free co-op mode coming this fall. Is that something that you're looking forward to?
Yes, I am. I actually don't know any of my friends that has this besides the one guy I game share with, which the story missions are, like the co-op ones, are going to be 2-player, so I'm excited for that. And then there's some kind of larger 4-player raids that they're talking about, but I don't know how that's going to work because there's not loot in this game. I mean, there is, but like not with different stats and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
You upgrade the same sword and bows that you have the entire time, you know. And you just get more damage the more you upgrade it. So I'm kind of wondering how that will work and like what the rewards will be.
Well, hopefully we will find out when that stuff releases, but that's all the time we have today. So for Gentoo and Project Delta this week, I'm Dalton Spies, and with me was
Aaron James.
and we'll see you next week.